Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难.
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都还难。
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu Honglin. Joining me today, Tony Reed. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Niuniu.
So, Tony, I have a question for you.
What's that?
Because recently we are trying to find new partners for the Learn Chinese team here in the company. We are looking for, new blood joining in, talking about the Chinese language, culture, and anything. And especially, we're looking for someone who's learning the language in process, someone like you.
Yeah.
They can share their experience in learning the language. It makes me wonder, how did you find CRI in the first place?
Well, I was actually, I think a lot of times you meet people that are in the industry and then they tell you how, wonderful their job is. And it's just like, oh, wow, that sounds like fun. I mean, wow, that sounds a little bit better than what I'm doing. Hey, are you guys hiring? So just, one thing led to another. And, sometimes it's just, word of mouth.
That's very interesting because I got my job basically off an ad from a website.
An ad?
Yep, and that's just like, we're looking for someone who are interested in a very, very general manner. I sent an email, sent out my resume, and I was asked to, take the test, the paper test, and the interview and everything. So that's like a very standard process of looking for a job.
Wow, just from an ad. Wow, that must have been a really attractive ad.
Yeah, but I was looking for jobs, so I was sending resume everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it will be a very interesting topic, and it's the topic for this episode. For those of you who are interested in, finding jobs and knowing what are some specific terms you might be...
Sure, a lot of people are.
Yeah, you might need. Well, if you're looking for a job in China, in Chinese, then you would have to prick your ears for this episode. So for our dear listeners, if you're also interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 你工作找得怎么样了？还可以，有不少通过了简历筛选，我正在准备笔试，加油，你一定能行。
Well, it looks like a very encouraging conversation. And especially, I think it's very relevant right now. A lot of people are looking for work and, so I think learning this dialogue is very important.
Yeah, and also, I think after we break it down bit by bit and learn each and every word, we can also talk a little bit about the process. After you handed in your resume, perhaps you need to have different kinds of experience, different kinds of tests. And it could be fun and it could be, easy for you to prepare for job hunting experience after this episode.
Testing, that's something that's a little bit different. You have to take a test
for different jobs. It's different for different line of work.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I've experienced some pretty cool ones. I'll let you know that after we learn the language first. So for the first sentence, 你工作找得怎么样了?
How's your job search going? So, 你工作, so this is you work or you job?
You, 你, you, and 工作, job or work.
And 找, this is a search, right?
Yeah, search or look for. So if you say, 我手机找不到了, I cannot find my phone. My phone is missing. So 我手机找不到了你在找什么 What are you looking for? 找
Okay. And then is this like kind of the like possession or for search or
Yes, so we have 3 的 in the Chinese language.
Right.
And this one is the one you use after a verb. So after the verb, you put this 的 there, and then you say something that is basically describing the verb you just said.
Okay. And then we have 怎么样了. So
怎么样了?
怎么样 is kind of like how's it, like what happened or how's it going?
How's it going? Yes. So 怎么样了? Like I said, you have 找 as the verb, and you have 的 after the verb. So 怎么样, you're asking about the verb. This is a little bit tricky because we translate it as how's your job search going. That's the thing in English. When you're asking about something, you want to say that something in the form of a noun. So for example, if I want to say, how's your Chinese learning? That'll be me asking about the process or the degree or let's say, how's the Chinese learning going? I'm asking about that.
So could we just say 你的 or just 你中文 learning? What is
学
that? 学怎么样?
Yeah, 你中文学的怎么样了? Right? So basically, I think we're asking about the noun in the English grammar. You always ask about the noun. And if it's a action, then you make it a noun by put it in a form of doing something. So job hunting, language learning, or for example, if you're asking about a meal, have you finished eating your meal? You would say, how's your meal? So you are always asking about something that is in the form of a noun. But in Chinese, we ask about how's the degree of the verb. That is why we use the 的 here. So 你工作找得怎么样? You're asking about how's the 找 process doing. So how's the job searching doing? And if it's, for example, 你中文学得怎么样? You're asking about 学 the verb, the learning. So that's a tiny bit difference in the nature of the grammar, but the meaning is essentially the same. So you're always asking about the verb. It's just in Chinese, you put it in the form of the verb and also you use 的. So for example, if I want to say 做得很好,
做得很好. So like what you did is very good, or?
Yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well. And if I say 说得太快,
you spoke very fast.
玩得很开心.
玩 Why, right?
No, 玩 is play.
玩得很可愛?
开心.
Oh, 开心, very happy.
Yeah, you're happy. So see, we describe the verb and we ask about the verb directly. So you don't really have to change the verb into a noun in order to ask about it. You just ask about it.
Okay.
So, 工作找得怎么样? How's the job hunting? Or in Chinese, you 找工作 looking for a job. How is that? How is the looking for a job?
Got it.
Then part B said, 还可以，有不少通过了简历筛选，我正在准备笔试。
So this is okay. Many of them have passed the resume screening, and I'm preparing for the written exam.
Yep.
So 还可以, this is a new one for me. So this is, I know 可以 is like can or something is okay.
Yep.
But what's the 还 here?
还 suggests a little bit of steal, but here you don't really directly translate it. 还可以 is like it's not bad, it's not half bad, it's all right. You're saying yes without being too cocky. You're trying to say, well, I think there are 2 kinds of 还可以. The first kind is the one that is actually going really well, but you do not want to brag about it. You want to, sound humble and everything.
Who wants to sound humble? Come on.
You want to say, instead of saying, oh my God, it's going great. I have so many offers. I'm going to make so much money. You don't want to say that, right? You want to say, yeah, I'm doing all right. It's okay. I'm gonna be a millionaire in the future, but I'm not bragging about it, something like that. So you say 还可以 instead of 超级好, super great.
So some humility there, a little bit of, okay.
That's one kind. And the other kind is you're not really doing well, but you don't want to sound too pessimistic and don't want to sound too sad or miserable. You want to say, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'll survive. I'll make it. Something like that. So,
I'm
yes,
surviving.
I'm surviving. You can definitely translate it as I'm doing all right. But how would you actually understand it, or what is the real meaning that it's sending out? You have to read into the context.
Okay.
还可以.
And we have 有不少通过了.
Yep.
So this is so 有 is like what, have, right?
Have, yep.
And then
不少.
This is like quite a few
Quite
or
a few.
many.
Yep. So in Chinese we say 不错, not bad, but it actually means good. And 不少, not just a few, but we're actually saying many.
Okay, so there's that being humble again, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Okay.
now it's just a simple word. So 不少 would be many.
通过了. So this is saying that something has, you've been successful at passing something. Right?
Yes. So 通过了 would be pass. And here, I think the subject is omitted because it's obvious from the first sentence, which is the question. We're asking about the job searching. So for people, when they're searching for jobs, they would send out their resume, send out their personal information to multiple places.
Right.
And 不少 would be like, many of them have passed the 简历筛选.
简历筛选. This means like the selection process?
Yes. So we have 简历 here being the resume. 简单 simple or brief. 历 is 履历 or 历程. It means the experience you have. So 简历 resume, because we know 简历 is basically one piece of paper summarizing what you've done in previous time. So 简历 resume. 筛选 is screening.
Okay, so resume screening process. And then 我正在, right? 正在.
正在.
This is I'm in the process of.
In the process of?
准备, this is ready, right?
It means get ready or prepare for. 准备. So, if I say 你准备好了吗?
It means, doesn't that mean are you ready?
Exactly, it means are you ready? But I can also say 这是我准备的作品. This is the work I prepared. Or 这是我准备的午饭. This is the
作品, what is 品?
作品.
作品.
Work. 作品.
Okay.
午饭 would be lunch. So this is lunch I prepared. 这是我准备的午饭. 准备 prepare.
Okay. And 笔试, right?
笔试.
笔试. This is another test, right? Or
yes.
paper examination?
Paper test. Yeah, paper
Written
test.
test.
Because 笔 is a pen. And 试
I knew
stands
that.
for 考试, right? So if you're using a pen to take the test, it's a written test.
Putting those words together are tricky.
Right?
For me, anyway.
I think that's the beauty of learning the characters and learning different words, because after a while, we've realized that each and every character carries a little bit of their own meaning. And when you put them together, it'll be easier and easier to guess what the words mean.
Okay.
我正在准备笔试 would mean I am preparing for the written exam. 准备笔试。加油，你一定能行。
Okay, this means like, come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like encouragement. And 加油, this is, I think that means add oil, right?
Yep, add oil.
Or give yourself some energy or perk up or, this kind of
Yeah, that's the
sentiment.
thing. I think in different languages, we all have our own way of cheering people up. And you don't really directly always say cheer up, even in English. You have different ways to say it. For example, I'll say, go, Tony, go! It carries the certain enthusiasm that you can shout out.
Yeah.
加油 is the Chinese word you can shout out. So you
Okay.
shout out to someone if you want them to go for it, come on, something like that.
Yeah, I think I might have heard that a few times. And 你一定, so this is you.
Certainly.
And then like 一 is like one, right? Or the
E
quantity
is
of one.
Yes. So E is one and 定 is fix. So if I'm saying it is fixed, this is only one possibility. I'm just saying for sure, right? So yeah, that's for sure.
Ni for sure, eating. And then neng is can, right?
Can.
And then xing is
Also
like,
can, actually.
Also can.
Yeah.
Can. Huh?
You can do it. Yeah.
Right.
You will make it. You will ace it.
Okay.
你一定能行.
Very positive.
Very positive.
I dig it.
Okay, so that's the conversation. Do you have any other questions?
No, let's give this a go.
Okay, you start.
Okay. 你工作找得怎么样了？
还可以，有不少通过了简历筛选。我正在准备笔试。
加油，你一定能行。
That's great. You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niuniu and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's talk about the process you have to go through or you might go through when you're looking for jobs. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu, joined by Tony. So Tony, tell me about your job hunting experience when it enters the process of the, employer trying to size you up from different angles. How was it?
Well, it depends on the process and what you're doing, of course. For different jobs, it's a bit more strenuous than others. My personal experience, or one of the hardest interviewing processes I went through, was the airline industry.
Wow, you have to be tall and stand up straight and being
No,
able
that's
to
if you wanna-
open the cabinet and everything, right?
That's for being a flight attendant, but in the industry, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. I thought it was just really entertaining. They had us do like this role play where they wanted to see how you would act under certain circumstances. So they would ask you these questions, and then you're in a room with a bunch of people, and they would watch you and see how you would respond. And so if you didn't respond the right way, then you would fail. And it was kind of bizarre how they did that.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
Well, I think we have that in China as well for like certain companies. They love to have different forms of interviews. Let's talk a little bit about the process first, and then we will reach the state of, face-to-face or group interviews. It can be fun. So the first thing you have to go through would be the open question or net application. We call it 网申, 网络. 网络 would be the net or the web. And 申 stands for 申请. 申请is apply. So when you're applying for the jobs, I think nowadays in a lot of different companies, they would ask you to fill in the form through their own system.
Oh, yeah.
So previously,
very annoying.
Yeah. Previously, you can just send out your resume that you have in hand in your pocket.
And it's done.
Yeah, many copies.
10
you send
seconds,
the
click,
same
submit,
thing.
it's over.
But now, because of the 网申, 网络申请, 网申, 网 net, 申请 apply, 网申. Because of that,
网申.
you have to fill in the form in their format, in their system, everything one more time. So that'll be the 网申. Sometimes you also have to take the strange psychological test. Have you tried that? It's like, if you have a job, what would you do? And you say, give up for a second, give up after 10 minutes. I'll continue to do it until I can, and I'll totally do it. I'm like, oh my God, about these tests, I really don't understand. Or I feel like I know what the right answers are. I'm just a little bit too rebellious to go for the right answer.
Or that's just their way of screening out people they don't want. I think you could actually go through all of them and answer them quote unquote correctly, but if they don't want to hire you, they could just say, oh, you failed.
Yeah, they call it 心理测试 or 心理测评.
Ooh, that's a long one.
Yeah, 心理 is mental or mentality. 心理.
心理.
Yeah, 心 is heart. 理 is kind of like state. So 心理 would be the psychological. 测评 测 is 测试 test. 评 is 评价 assess. So they're assessing your mentality, assessing your personality, your preference in a work environment, something like that. So that is the process you have to sometimes go through. And then, of course, we have 笔试, the written test. 笔试 It's
笔试
yeah, 笔 is pen, and 试 we know is test, so written test. And the written tests are also focusing on different topics for different career. Have you gone through a written test in the airline?
Yes, that
industry?
was very important. We after they hired you, they sent you to another training, and if you didn't pass the written test, you would fail.
Yeah.
Which was so weird. It was like, okay, wait, you hired me, and then there's another, like, it's almost like another interview.
Yeah.
And then you have to do this written exam, and you had to pass with 100%.
100%.
If you missed one mark, then you would be fired.
You're not actually flying a plane.
You're not flying a plane, but they
That's just
consider
too
that
strict.
to be very, very important. And it wasn't that difficult, to be honest, but you had people that instead of studying, they were, just hanging out, and they failed and they never came back. It was really
Oh
intense.
my god, that
Yeah.
is intense. And I think the situation in China is fun in a different way because, of course, you're going to take the tests or answer questions about your own profession. For example, when I'm looking for a job here, I had to translate certain news articles. That's for sure. It's for the professional ability, making sure you're qualified for the job. But in some companies, they would also test to the degree that I feel like they're trying to see if we're smart enough, because there will be like math questions and logic kind of questions. Those questions are testing out sometimes your ability to learn or the speed of your reaction, something like that. So it's possible that you would have to take a test in that way as well.
Sounds like a filtering test to me, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
It feels like an IQ test sometimes.
Yeah. A filtering test.
A filtering test. And there will also be what we call 主观题.
主观题, what
Yes.
is that?
So 主观 is subjective. 题 is questions. So 主观题requires you to write an essay about a certain thing. It doesn't have to be long, but it'll show your point of view on certain subjects.
The things we do to get a job.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You have to jump a lot of hoops.
And how do you say that again?
主观题.
主观题.
Yeah. And after that, it's possible that you will have a phone interview before you go to the face-to-face interview for some companies. And also it's possible that maybe it's hard for you to go to the places in person. They will allow you to accept the interview in the form of a video or a telephone call.
Yeah.
So we call it 电话面试.
电话, that's phone. I know that one.
面试.
面试.
面试 would be interview.
Okay.
You can think of 笔试 as the written test, so it's the writing view, and the interview, face-to-face interview.
So
面试 面 is face.
Ah,
Yeah. Right?
That makes sense.
That makes sense. 面
The
试
face test.
The face test. So yeah, put on your makeup for sure and wear properly. 面试. But there are different things in 面试. They would ask you to, of course, introduce yourself. So if you can impress interviewers just in the process of introducing yourself, that'll be cool. But there might also be other forms of interview. The one you've just said, the group interview, we call it 群面. 群.
群面.
Yeah, 群, 人群, a group.
人
群.
群.
And 面试.
面试.
That's the face, right? So
Yeah.
群面 would be you accept the interview in the form of talking in a group. And there has been a very popular one, I think in previous years. I'm not really sure about the situation now, but it has been a very popular way of quote unquote get to know you in a short period of time. That is the 无领导小组讨论. It's long, I'll explain. 无 is have no, so it means to be without. 领导 is leader. 领导. 小组 is group. 讨论 is discussion. So the kind of discussion that you put sometimes 5 to 10 people in one group. They'll give you a topic. They'll want you to present after the discussion, and they'll watch you. They won't point out who's going to be the leader of the discussion. They won't give you any kind of guidance. They'll just say, okay, so you group of people, here's a question. Discuss and let me know what is your answer.
Oh, sounds like it would be a mess. Because I mean, if it's a management position, then everyone's gonna want to step up and say something.
Not really, because without a management position, they want to see who's going to, take the lead, take the responsibility, and started to write down what's everyone's saying and summarize them and being able to present after the discussion. But the ideal situation would be everyone find their own role. It's not that they're looking for a leader because you're only entering the company. It's not like you're going to be a leader. You're going to be management level as your first post, but they're looking for certain traits. So maybe someone is a good listener and they can summarize the ideas perfectly. Someone is very quick in response. Someone has the ability to think about new ideas, thinking out of the box. So they're looking at you. And it's strange, The strange thing is, they're looking at you. You don't know what they're looking for. And it's funny. 无领导小组讨论.
I wonder where they get these creative
ideas,
ways of
right?
assessing people. I'm convinced some of them don't work, but
yeah, I also feel like if you think about it, it's a bizarre idea to believe that you can really get to know someone if they're right for the company in, I don't know, half an hour.
Yeah, I personally agree. And how do you say something doesn't work in Chinese?
没有用. Have no use.
Oh, no. Okay. 没有
用.
Okay, useless,
It's funny, right? 没有用, useless. But, well, like you said, the things we have to do in order to get a job can sometimes be funny and even ridiculous, or
Very
even
ridiculous.
没有用, useless. But if it is your dream job, if you have to really prepare for it, what would be some advices you want to give to the, job hunters out there? I have one that I think
give me one of yours.
Yeah,
and then
really work. That is, sometimes when they're looking for a job, people don't really know what line of work they will end up doing. Or they want to try different things. So they're basically sending out their resumes to different companies. When I say different, it's like totally different. Sometimes you're in the industry of education. Sometimes you jump to sales or you jump to, I don't know, media. It can be different.
Sure.
So in your resume, you want to make customized resume. 要记得调整简历.
Oh,
you have to,
customized
you have to adjust, 调整, adjust your resume. So if you're looking for a job, for example, this resume is for a company in media industry. You don't want to put I have tried to be a part-time salesman when I was in college for 2 weeks. You don't want that experience in your resume, right? So you want to screen it a little bit.
If you don't have any experience, then you may need to work that one, even if it's 2 weeks.
The thing is, when you're listing your work experience, 工作经历, work experience, or your awards, 奖项, you want to put things in there, the things that are related to the job you're looking for. That's for sure.
That's a good suggestion. I think that's probably step one, right?
That's step one.
To get at least the pair of eyes on your resume.
Yes.
Because of the sea of resumes, if your resume at least matches what you're applying for in some way, it will at least give you give your resume some attention. But I think once you get in the door and you're actually at an interview, I feel like some people interview better than others.
Yeah.
But I think just being yourself.
Exactly.
Finding a way to connect with the interviewer if that's possible. But just being able to connect with your interviewers.
Totally.
And sometimes when they're talking to you and they're asking you questions, they let out little things about themselves. And being able to just, I think just... because it's really if they like you or not. If they like you and you're easy to talk to, then they'll hire you.
We say 做自己, be yourself.
做
做自己.
Okay.
Yes, I think, of course, we should learn about the company that we're applying and also the line of work they do, the industry they're in. But also, it's important to be yourself, because if you learn about exactly what they want, what kind of people they want, and you pretend to be that person and you get in, you'll be miserable. You would not like working in a place or in a post that is not looking for you. So it's like a 双向选择, we say in Chinese. 双向.
Double, right?
Double direction. 向方向, 双向, double direction. 选择, selection or choice. So we are choosing each other. We're trying to find each other. So the job is looking for you and you are looking for the job. So be yourself. That's also very important.
Yeah, being yourself, I think, is huge.
All right, so those are two, I think, very important surprise. That is, when you're preparing for it, make as much effort as you can. And when you're actually interviewing for the job, be yourself. So that once you get it, you will be happy.
And yes, make sure you know a little bit about the company before you apply. Because if they ask you any questions and you don't know anything at all,
you won't get it. You don't love the job.
That's not
you
a good
don't
look.
No. All right, and that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Tony in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at chinaplus.cri.cn and go to the column 你好. You can also listen to the show and read the script on our Easy FM app.
There's also 3 podcast platforms where you can find us, and that's Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, in case you'd like to listen to some previous shows and leave your thoughts, comments, and ratings.
感谢收听，下次再见。
再见。